woke up with a fire in my soul, a vision burning bright, a goal to control. The road ahead ain't always clear, but I'm stepping forward, no room for fear. Each stair I climb, a lesson learned. From every fall, a lesson earned. The mind is a weapon, sharp and true. I'm forging ahead, there's nothing I can't do. Think and grow rich, that's the plan. With every step, I take a stand. Climbing the staircase of my dreams, fueled by the power of my schemes. Mind-focused heart on the rise. Achievement is the price I prize. Step by step, I'm reaching high, tuning my mindset to touch the sky. The journey's tough, but I won't quit. I've got the drive, I've got the grit. Each level up, a new horizon, a world of possibilities in motion. I'm sharpening my thoughts, aligning my will, turning obstacles into a hills I can climb still. The power of belief, it's on my side. With every breath I'm fortified. I'm not just dreaming, I'm in the fight, turning the night into the light. Think and grow rich, that's the plan. With every step, I take a stand. Climbing the staircase of my dreams, fueled by the power of my schemes. Mind-focused heart on the rise. Achievement is the price I prize. Step by step, I'm reaching high, tuning my mindset to touch the sky.
It is Friday morning, the last Friday of May. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad, for putting in the YouTube link in case LinkedIn is doing a lot of funny things, right? We have an alternative, a solution. Hey, Christy. Hey, Linda and Leanna. I'm so happy that you're here. Coach Carrie is here too. Lots going on this morning. I mean, I know there's another great live going on. That doesn't mean to leave. I just, that's where I do the game replay. So I'm so glad you're here. I'm Leslie Fowler, and this is our weekly study and application of the principles, the leadership, and universal laws. The first one from Think and Grow Rich, leadership and universal laws, are from me and my work. So you get a 3-prong, 20 years of study so that you come to clarity about exactly what to do when to work on something. Kelly is here. How exciting. Hi, Kelly. I'm just so happy to see you all. So let me sing you this song. Now, I'm going to take you back to the 50s. And so I invite you to pretend you're at the Roxy Theater in New York 100 years ago, maybe a little less. And this was the music of that time. Notice how different it is through all the evolutions and iterations that we have gone through. I just love this. You might remember Johnny Mathis. Look at me. I'm as helpless as a kitten up a tree. And I feel like I'm clinging to a cloud. I can't understand why I get misty just holding your hand. Walk my way, and 1,000 violins begin to play. Or it might be the sound of your hello, that music I hear. I get misty the moment you're near. Kind of smulchy, huh? You can say that you're leading me on. Oh, but that's just what I want you to do. Don't you notice how hopelessly I'm lost? That's why I'm following you on my own. Would I wander through this wonderland alone, never knowing my right foot from my left, my hat from my glove? I'm too misty and too much in love. I'm so glad you're enjoying yourself. Jason, hello, I see you. This was a Johnny Mathis song, and the nicest songs really were done by male vocalists. Hey, Lay, so glad that you're here. Just about ready to wrap it up and get into our lesson. On my own, would I wander through this wonderland alone, never knowing my right foot from my left, my hat from my glove? I'm too misty and too much in love. Look at me. Wow. Think back for a second. When have you been in love like this? Are you in love like this today? Is this a crush that we're talking about? Were these crushes? Were these real love? I don't know. On the spectrum of love, I'm moving things around here. I don't know. So I see we have a nice crowd here. Thank you all for being here. This is the last. Oh, thank you. And Leah has put in the link to YouTube. So if you get blown off and it says, oops, you can come right back. Or if you get frustrated enough, you have a solution, go to Lay's comment. And if you're viewing on LinkedIn, there's 3 dots at the bottom of the screen. You can view the details and invite other people. Excuse me. Getting over like 4 weeks of not feeling great. Thank you. Thank you. You like my hair, huh? This is the old 60s hair, right? So this is in the 60s, and I would boof it out like this. And I weighed 100 pounds less, right? I didn't need a bra. But anyway, that's pretty much too much information. Good morning, Nicole. Oh God, our sponsor is here and I'm talking about bras. Well, let's get going, shall we? I'm really excited about today. There is an element today, guys. You're going to see how Think and Grow Rich, how all of the principles relate like a family. And it doesn't mean that you have to have them all when you're doing things. You only really absorb one at a time or all of them very slowly. And that's why you hear me say, pick one goal at a time, take it to achievement, because out of confusion comes clarity. And when we're confused, we don't take action. So that's why one goal works so well. To become consistent in your achievement, unless you're okay with haphazard or sporadic results, if you don't mind hit, miss, it doesn't really help with building confidence, but who cares? I mean, if that's okay with you. But I'm going to show you something today that will cut out all your procrastination. And that is the worst. For me, that is the worst bad habit. And you won't cut it out completely, of course not, but you will know how to avoid it in 95% of the time. Okay. And so here we go. Let's see. I don't know who the LinkedIn user is. That's probably Nicole is here. Hi, Nicole. Jackie Hellberg is here. So excited. Yes, this is a classic. This is Sarah Vaughn. I'll have to look at that one. I found that it is the men's voice song. They sang most of the good songs, but you're right. Thank you for that. All right. Now my machine is behaving weirdly, so I'm going to have to scroll up here to find you if I can. Hey, Rob Unger. So good to see you. And Jeremy Burdick. Wow. We got the thought leaders in the house as I try and continue to insist on making this work, because I got to find Christy where I highlighted you, and now I don't know if I can get to where you are. Oh, goodness. Well, you may just be with me. Excuse me, Coach Carrie, the whole time. Oh, there you are. Okay. I don't know about you, but I'm happy. It's not Mercury retrograde, but we are in the most phenomenal, hi Lisa Fevick, the most phenomenal astrological time. Now look, you might not believe in astrology, and I totally get it. Keep in mind though that Socrates and Plato and all those guys all believed in the stars and energy. And, it's kind of like natural healing. There's plenty of natural healing, but as we got off on the wrong road, or let's just say a parallel road into modern medicine, it seems like we get very enamored with that, and we forgot about the wonders of natural medicine. So let me just say to you about astrology that just because we may not know how it works does not mean it's not working. You don't know how yet, but there's plenty of scientific and empirical evidence that it does work. So today, as we get into decision, I want you to be thinking about questions and epiphanies, things that, as you're listening, things seem to get louder. And when you're listening and all of a sudden something sounds louder in your ears, but it's not louder, I'm not speaking any louder, there's something there. And so put in the comments what you're thinking, what questions are coming up for you, what clarifications, like, does it work like this? I get it now, because I'm going to drop a bomb today that you may have heard me said before, but you may not have been ready for it. You see, we're always growing in conscious awareness of our infinite potential. And we're either growing in it or disintegrating, slipping back into our comfort zone. Nobody is static in growth or in fixed mindset. There's no such thing. The universal law of vibration, of which the law of attraction is a subset, and there are 7 universal laws. Vibration says that you're either growing or disintegrating. So what that means is that where you are right now, everything is disintegrating, albeit very slowly. So that's how we are. We grow in conscious awareness. So you may have heard it before, but not absorbed it. You may not have been ready, but you'll know, because it'll be like a tuning fork inside your mind. Okay. The the decibel level will change. You may feel a little tingle. So be listening and be sensitive within yourself as you're absorbing what I'm sharing, because it is the bomb. Today is like phenomenal. All right, here we go. And if I can get my mouse to work, I need a new mouse. All right, let's see if I can make this just a little bigger, which I like to do. Well, I didn't pay much attention. All right, well, we'll leave it right there, and let me change this to wide so you can see each other's questions too, and that may inspire you to ask a question. I'll try to keep up with them, but we're 20 after, and I've got a lot to share with you, but it's all planned as usual, right? I have a bullet list I make up every week of every slide, right? And the sequence and the points. So I've done this, gosh, I've been teaching this for 18 years every week. I've got 20,000 hours. So let me just tell you, it's like taking the best parts of tiramisu, your favorite parts, first. Eating the cream, the whipped cream first. Or if you love the lady fingers, turning it over and eating the cookie first. That's what I'm going to give to you today. Thank you, Jason. Hi, Leah. Oh, Leah, you are the most wonderful. You guys, this is amazing, amazing woman here. Who's Team Aries? Let me see. Oh, yeah, I was going to tell you about horoscope. Team Aries. Christy, that's right. Okay, just really quickly, the mutable signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, plus Gemini, are in the most incredible month coming up in June. Things are going to show up for you, so be looking for them from unexpected sources, collaborations, ideas, people. Be looking for that, expecting people to show up on your path because you've attracted them. Your vibration is so powerful. I'm getting super chills right now. Your vibration is so powerful. Now, it's good for everyone, okay? And, for Virgos too, because I'm a Virgo rising, so I pay attention. But just love the fact that there's mystery and magic in the universe. There's scientific proof. There's empirical evidence. You may not understand it yet, but there's so much good in you. And yes, there's the dark side, but come on, people, let's pump up the good side, right? The fears are what make us have a lower self-esteem. But just looking around at all the people here, I'm just so thrilled that you're all here. So first, I want to share with you how grateful I am. And let me turn this banner on. I kind of rushed to get everything done. And so here we go. Thank you. There we go. So I'm so honored that Nicole Angai Galindo, hey, Nicole, she is our sponsor for this show. I want to see if I can make this bigger. That's right. And she is the founder and the CEO of Guiding Brilliant Writers Publishing House. Don't worry, we're getting to the lesson. I'm just kind of warming you up. I'm warming myself up, getting focused on where we're headed. So enjoy. If you've got coffee, great. Mark your calendars for June 9th. I believe it's a Tuesday. The current anthology, which is the second volume of We Choose to Be More Than Our Diagnoses, which book one was a blockbuster hit. Now, an absolutely bestseller. This is where people that have diagnoses, all sorts of diagnoses, tell their story about how they have overcome it. And what you find out is everybody has diagnoses. Some have it stronger than others. Some self-diagnose. That's what my chapter is about. Like, I think I'm Dr. Leslie, right? When you raise two children and you can tell when your kid has a cold, when it's a virus from the water, right? You get pretty good at diagnosing things. Well, in my chapter, I talk about how my 4 diagnoses were all inaccurate. So I think you'll really enjoy it. So Nicole does books that are anthologies where it gives new writers an opportunity to get their feet wet, other writers to add to their collection. For me, it's rather a hobby. This will be number 14, if I'm not mistaken. But also she does manuscripts, and she also does all the marketing, whatever part of the marketing you want, and the graphics, and the covers, and the formatting. And so Guiding Brilliant Writers Publishing House has consultants that bring things in, like book coaching, like line editing. So whatever it is you need, you want to reach out to Nicole. And if you saw the beautiful intro, and you'll see the outro, I'm always grateful to Soul Media Live Productions and Aaron Gibson for knowing me well enough to create the beautiful intro and outro that speaks to my heart. All right. Oop, that should have been wide. Okay, well, I thought it was wide. Oh, well, it is, but this is low. That's interesting. Well, doesn't matter. You guys having fun? Yeah, are you having a good time? All right, here's what we're going to do today. All right. This is week 7. Apologies. Lots getting this together. So we're going to look at the 7 mantras. We're going to look at the roadmap. This is going to be key in the truth bomb I share with you today. Okay, so I'm going to do a little teaching at the map to show you how this is linear, and how, while you don't have to do everything linear, the more linearly you follow this, the more quickly you expedite what it is you want, your goal, your manifestation, whatever it is that you want. And I always say, as long as you're not encroaching on someone else's rights. So that's my philosophy. Okay. So you're being taught this 12 weeks, and the study includes also my 2014 bestseller, Champion. And it began originally as Think and Grow Rich for Women. So we're going to look at the 7. So there's a lot that I bring in through leadership lessons during the 12 weeks from my book. So we'll look at the roadmap. We're going to take a quick peek after the decision lessons into goals and achievement and visualization. And we're going to do upcoming events. This is a little out of order. And then we have a special meditation today. Okay. All right. I don't see any questions, so let me get over to this next. All right. These are the 7 mantras. Okay. And so here's what I'm going to do in the interest of time. I'm going to rapidly do this. I encourage you at least once a week, do this with me, or take a minute and do it in the middle of the week. Why? Because repetition is the first law of learning. These mantras are affirmations that you generate like a prayer. When you're asking God for something that you really, really want, that cellular vibration, that amount of love, that amount of kindness is where you want to be physically and mentally when you do this. This, through repetition, will impress these affirmations as part of your character and your values. It will explode them. Pretty much all of them together will embed if you do this. Now you can pick one, right? And just practice that one. So I'm going to generate them for you really quickly so you kind of get the idea. You can do it yourself right where you are now with me. But you want to believe it. You want to love it. So I am my word. I treat every agreement, including those with myself, as I would an appointment with my most trusted and valuable client and colleague. I am proactive. I am the one to make sure that my scheduled calls are held on time. Oh boy, did I mess up yesterday on that one. Even if another has said that they would call. Okay, that was a wonderful reminder because I missed a call yesterday, right? So it reminded me that is not the way I want to be. So it's metacognition that you see what you've done, and therefore you have practical application to shut it down over and over and over again until it gets like a whisper. I am disciplined. I complete all tasks, no matter how small. And if I miss one, I complete it within 24 hours. I am focused. I do not allow an interrupt in my plans based on my values unless there is an emergency that only I can manage. Then I reset the original plan. An emergency only I can manage. If you and your husband are available at the same time and you already have a commitment, you do not, someone else can manage it, or it can be moved or whatever. But you don't give up on those commitments unless it's an emergency. And then if you do, you just remake it. I mean, you make the promise again and you remake it. I am motivated. I show up hungry, eager, and present, even if I don't want to that day or I don't feel like it. I am trusted. I maintain strict confidence with the private information I learn in dialogue with business connections, family, and friends. And I am the mirror of your greatness. I understand that the level of greatness I see in others is in exact proportion to my own. Searching for another's greatness expands my own. Okay. All right. I hope you did that. I hope it was good for you. Hello, Joe Perez. So glad you're here. I'm going to take a quick look and see who's here. If I can get my Bobby Lee is here. Hello. I haven't seen you. Missed you yesterday, Bobby Lee. I usually come in late to your show. Bobby Lee has a show, a live show, Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern. Money and Mindset, a fabulous combination. His partner does the money part. I mean, they both do, but Bobby Lee is the mindset. And Coach Carrie, hey, Coach Carrie, let me just say that Coach Carrie has a show Saturday afternoons at 3 p.m. Eastern, Carrie Connects. And I'm looking to see if there is any. Linda Meyer is going to be a guest teacher coming up real soon on Mondays, Mind Over Matter Mondays, 11 a.m. Eastern, every Monday. All right, I think I got everybody. Just put the word question in the front of your comment so I can catch it. Okay, so let's go. What is it? Joe says, I'm curious of your insight of Aquarians. I don't know. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm a double Sagittarius with Virgo rising. My best friend and accountability partner, Nicole, is a Gemini. We're exactly 6 signs away from each other. We're the perfect working combo. She attends to the details and I create the vision. Not always that way. So I don't know. My sister was an Aquarius and she's passed away. So the people in my life are Scorpios and Virgos. And they're fire signs. And so, honestly, I don't know. It's kind of a hobby with me. But I do love seeing how you can figure out what sun sign someone is. If you know enough Sagittarians, you instantly know who's a Sagittarian because they're like on the same thought frequency as I am. Okay. Let's get into the roadmap and decision. That's where we are this week. Now, look, this roadmap is a 12-week course. It doesn't hit all 13 of the principles, but we don't have to because within each lesson, other pieces of the principles are brought in, such as seeking specialized knowledge or There's one on planning. I can't think of what it is. It's the longest one. But anyway, okay. So notice that as we begin, there are the first 2 weeks in definite purpose. The purpose of the introduction must be understood before you move on. If you don't get the purpose and that concept for yourself, for what it is you want, what is the purpose? Why do I want this? What difference will it make in the world for other people? Will I be able to maintain my love for it when my own fears show up? Is it that important to me? Why is it that important to me? These are ideas that you get either through creative imagination, likely, or through mastermind, when someone said something like myself and you got an idea from what you heard. That's the epitome of mastermind. The purpose of definite purpose is all of those things for one thing at a time. One goal at a time. There is such a sensory overload. Over the last 18 years, I have 500 client goals achieved. My program ran every 12 weeks. Every 12 weeks, we repeated the program over and over with different goals. Some were goals to build a business, starting from the bottom up. Some were goals in corporate for promotions. It doesn't matter. Definite purpose means that you will then fall in love with it. That's desire, the starting point of all achievement. You see the world through the prism of that love. It's kind of like when you get a crush on someone, you don't notice their bad habits. Everything they do is so cute, right? And then when you get to know them, some things aren't so cute anymore, right? So you want a strong purpose. Why do you want it? And it's got to be heart-centered. If you get that, you can move on. But you must discipline yourself to do one goal at a time. Now, I picked 12 weeks. I'm not the first person to do this, but I have conducted 65 quarterly programs where 512-week goals from my clients were achieved, and they're written, and they're from all walks of life. So it does work if you follow this. Not easy to do because we can do so many things at the same time, right? We absolutely can. Let me turn these on here. All right, this is good. This is good. Now, you're going to fall in love with it. So first out of the gate, it's got to be one thing that the fears, kind of like when you were a kid and you got on the bike the first time and you fell and you were willing to risk that. You fell and you had a scabby knee and you got right back up on the bike. I mean, it was more important for you to ride with your friends than any kind of, scrapes or scuffs. You don't have a lot of fear built up yet as a kid. You have a lot of imagination and you get right into it, don't you? So you immerse yourself in this goal. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't do anything else. It really just takes a couple tasks a week. It just means that you might do a vision board. You might talk about it with someone you trust. But you don't have to immerse your whole life in it. Just remember, this is the one goal. No matter what comes up during whatever period of time you've given yourself, your boundary is do not veer off. You'll get excited. People will bring things to you and you're going to go, oh, wow, I could do this and I could do this. But what about your goal? And let's not confuse this with tasks. So a lot of people know about SMART goals. I will tell you this. SMART goals, if you research it, were designed for middle management, where you are supposed to be able to achieve them. And they are realistic as you go through whatever contract you have in middle management. And I use that process for tasks. You got 2 tasks a week. You want them to be SMART. You want them specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. But with a dream, you do not know how you're going to do it, and it is not realistic when you start. You see the distinction? So one goal that you do not know how to do, you may have failed at, so you still don't know how to do it. You are in love with it. You see the world through the prism of what that would be like for your family, for children learning to cook, for families, like I'm thinking of TK Kitchen, right? I mean, if you know 𝘠𝘮𝘮𝘠, she has 𝘥𝗡𝗡𝗡 program, which is a nonprofit. She has a lot of STEM students that are in middle school and high school. Listen, she had a lot of fears come up, a lot of doors closed, but she never gave up. She didn't let fear. And it's the same thing with Jason. It's the same thing with Martha Amaya, who has Connect Impact Hub to house people who are unhoused. You have to want it, and you don't have to have one all the time. And it can be about anything. Then, through a period of repetition, I'm looking at the time now, you begin to build faith in your ability and your deservability. You start to see the signs show up that you thought were coincidences. They are not. Consider. When someone shows up with the answer to the next step for your goal the following week, oh, what a coincidence. Not. Consider that what you want is moving toward you at the same amplitude of cellular vibration. Amplitude of vibration at the same velocity that you're moving toward it. So if you're in action at a high vibration moving towards your goal is actually on its way to you. And it will land in your lap. You're not really going anywhere. You're always present. Hey, Charles Caldwell. I see your name came up here. How are you? Hong Kong. All right. Now, how do we do all this? Through auto-suggestion, self-suggestion. Repetition is the first law of learning. You do these things in spaced consecutive intervals over time. You have your goal. You're falling in love with it. People are starting to show up with answers for you. You keep reminding yourself you do 2 tasks a week. Your imagination expands with what other people bring to you as reference points. And then you arrive at decision. And so it's very important to understand the relationship between the introduction, which is definite purpose, and the way I explained it, and decision. Okay. Hi, Stanley Green. So happy that you're here. Yay, yay, yay. So glad you're here. Okay. I didn't see any questions. Anybody who needs to reach me, you can text me. I got my phone here. There's a lot to look at. So today is decision, right? And it is the mastery of procrastination. Decision is one of the 13 principles of success. And if you look at both sides of this, you have the frustration of procrastination and the joy of freedom of shutting it down. And that is what we're going to talk about today. How to take the worst habit that most people say they have and get inside of it in your thinking. It's hinged on definite purpose. One goal that you do not know how to do that could change the world. And you go to the mat to bring it to the world. It is your voice. And this is what I'm doing, right? I used to make money for years doing this. Now I make money line editing manuscripts, which I'm masterful at, but I don't charge for this because I made plenty of money. It's time to give back. All right. So the first lesson I want to share with you is the decision and the Declaration of Independence. So remember here now, this is right out of Think and Grow Rich. we had 34 men, no women at that time. Actually, we would have only needed 17 women, right? If we had done it now. But anyway, back then there were 34 men, right? And they all risked their lives. Every one of them could have been hung. And they came together. And the question for you is how quickly do you make decisions in business? So are you the person who gets into analysis paralysis? Like, well, if I do this, I could get this. And if I get this, then I could do this or this. So how good are you? Successful people make very quick decisions and are very slow to change them, if at all. I'm working with an author right now that I've worked with several times who, after the fact, got an idea. But that's very rare once you complete something. So it makes it very important. Yes, money loves speed. Everything we do echoes Ashif. That's so true. That's so true. So now, think about what principles they all used. Okay. So there's mastermind, obviously, when two or more people get together and they're working on the same project. No kidding, like the mastermind. Did they have a definite purpose? You bet they did, to free America. Did they have a deep desire? Did they know how? No. Did they have a deep desire for this? Well, you bet, if you'd risk your life, right? These are the founding fathers of our country. Did they begin to develop faith in this goal? Absolutely. They continued on. How did they do it? Through meeting repetitively, through self-suggestion, auto-suggestion, affirmation, natural process. And they had decisions to make. So I want to know if you have made a decision quickly based on intuition. Because every one of these men were in the higher side of thinking. They were so compelled and in love. Fear didn't have a chance. And so decision-making was easy because there was no worry, there was no anxiety, there was just a solution. So Coach Carrie says, one goal that you do not know how to do. That's right. And you guys have heard about the 100th monkey syndrome, right? That's another story. And some people say on Snopes it isn't true, but the concept is fabulous that you could be the 100th monkey. And I'll talk about that at another time. It has to do with the snow monkeys in northern Japan, 1956 scientists, and the experiment with sweet potatoes. So think about yourself. What is your goal? Would this be something that you'd be willing to go against society? What else have we got to? Decision. Then we got to persistent. Were they persistent? You bet they are. So all these principles, did they seek specialized knowledge? They were specialized knowledge back then. So think of this in terms of yourself. Do you have to have this all the time? No. But I will remind you that your best ideas come from creative imagination. That is, you're sitting in this room and an idea comes to you that you hadn't had before. Something that Carrie said, right? Something that Ashif said. And you get this phenomenal idea that just rings your bell. That is creative imagination. That all ideas are already here. And when you get one, you can choose to hold it and manifest it, which is another lesson, or you can let it go and let someone else get it. But understand that once you start on a big goal, if you give up on it, it doesn't go away. It goes back into the ether and someone else gets the idea. And that's the phenomenon of, but that was my idea, don't you remember? Yes, I remember, and you let it go. So think about what these men did, and are you willing to do that? Be selective about what that goal is, that definite purpose. Be selective. You may have to start with 12 weeks of laying the groundwork and then nurturing and watering and then earning the money, right? It may take a little bit. However, that's why we have the 12-week breaks, because let's say it takes a year or 2 years. It's hard to stay focused on something that long. That's why we break them up into 12 weeks. And that's the work I did with clients, is figuring that out, right? What is the appropriate goal? We don't know how to do it, but it's going to be those steps, that first step toward what we want. Then when we get to the next 12 weeks, so it's tiered, really. But it could be a goal that is simply, in 12 weeks, I want to book 10 speaking engagements on podcasts this quarter. Okay. I don't have to do them all, but I have to book them. And I've never done it before. So that's kind of how that looks. All right. So what leads to lack of decision? Who knows? It is the lack of one definite purpose. And let me just see what I have next here. Oh yeah, I was going to show you that. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the big aha right now. If you have, there we go, a definite purpose that is compelling, it is clear, it is strong, you've never done it before, you want it more than anything else, you'll go to bat like the 34 founders of our country, you'd risk your life. I mean, that's really a definite purpose, etc. You've got your one thing. You've fallen in love with it. You build faith in yourself. You're seeing the signs coming to you. You've used your imagination. And now, all of a sudden, the phone rings, or you get a DM that offers you the most amazing opportunity. It's really good. Here's where you set the boundary. And here's the question. If you will remember this, procrastination will always take a back seat. Because procrastination is confusion and the opposite is decision. Here's the question when this thing comes up, this really juicy looking thing, right? If I do this now, will it take me directly to my goal or not? If it will not, do not do it. Now, if someone offers you this, you can ask them, I'm not available right now. It doesn't mean that it goes away forever, but that doesn't even matter. The point here is, if you're this committed to this goal and you have a life to live besides this goal, taking on one more thing dissolves or begins to dissipate your focus on the original goal, because now you're all excited about this. Some people call it squirrel, right? The distractions. I get it. We're in a world of sensory overload, for goodness sake, and we've lost our ability to focus. Doing this one thing will restore your ability to focus like the muscle it is. These intellectual faculties, perception, imagination, intuition, memory, reason, will, and empathy, grow in direct proportion to their use. We're using this one, right? We are building faith in our ability and deservability. So that is the boundary. Okay? Do you have any questions? Only when we plant it, it grows. Yes, absolutely, Ashif. Okay, does everybody get it? Are we good? Do you get it? If anybody have any questions, it's pretty simple. But it took me a while to realize, hey, Aaron Titsworth, so glad that you're here. So really, to master procrastination, why am I not doing this? Because you got too many things on your plate. if you will follow what I shared with you about definite purpose through desire, through faith, building faith, it takes time, right? You got to see the signs. That's people showing up where you thought it was a coincidence. You do it through repetition. That's why most of us do our lives every week, right? This repetition, you are growing in awareness of your potential right through the law of vibration. So your awareness when you came into this room was at a certain level, if you will, and it's growing right here. And when you leave, you may have had an epiphany. Something may have come clear to you that wasn't quite clear before, because we're not all ready at the same time in our level of awareness to get clear, right? To really understand that we don't know how to do it yet. But don't give up, because you don't know yet. You will know when you're ready. And guess who determines that? God in the universe determines when you've put in what is necessary to achieve what it is you want and to enjoy it. You see, the universe doesn't want to give us things and have us be stressful, such as winning the lottery, right? Pretty stressful. The universe wants us to succeed with love and kindness. So a lot of times your goal will not show up exactly when you wanted to, but you weren't ready. You didn't do enough study yet, according to the universe. All right. So this reminds you again of this process of visualization. I want you to see this. I can turn this to tall. So remember, you get the idea. The first step is you get this wild idea. You're listening today and you think, oh my goodness, I know we could do this. No one's ever done this before. Oh my God, I love this. Then you begin to visualize it. What would it be like? That's the first step. This is the definiteness of purpose, which doesn't even get into how to use those or to apply those principles, not how to, but the application of those principles. You own them. They are embedded in you, and they create the chemical cocktail for new neural pathways that allow you to think more positively instead of reacting negatively as much as we all do. So you imagine it several times a day. What, for 30 seconds, you picture it done. That doesn't count the 2 tasks that you're going to do maybe 30 minutes to an hour each week, maybe more, maybe less, but not much. So you imagine it several times, and you imagine it already done, because that's exciting. You picture yourself in that world, and that's what we talked about last week, quantum jumping, and we'll get back into that, into the 5th dimension, that it's always been here and we've been doing it. We didn't understand what we were doing. We couldn't distinguish yet what this means, and we're in the process of figuring that out. So we fall deeply in love with it over time, and as the idea comes to you, then it goes through you, right? You fall deeply in love with it, you take action with it, and ultimately when you achieve it, then you have perfect faith in your ability and deservability, and you've disproven the fact that you can't, or that you failed before. So you've overridden the fear that I can't do that, or I'm not smart enough, or I failed before, or I didn't have the money, or what if I get sick? And there's a whole bunch of fears that are real, right? And we think about them when we go to do things that we've never done before. But gosh, we sure want to do this one. Now, if you give up, let's say 2/3 of the way through, since the universe and God has given you the idea, you don't think it's going to melt away, do you? No, it goes right back into the ether, and it's planted in someone else's mind. All right. So I hope you're enjoying this. All right, good. I'm looking over here because our time is moving quickly. Hello, Margaret Williams. So glad. Help me out. Let's look at this real quick. Help me understand the difference between visualize and imagination. Imagination is what allows you to bring the visual image onto the screen of your mind. Okay, so you get this idea, you're closing your, well, that's weird. Okay. So this is the screen of your mind right here. When you think of the thing you want, you're using your mental muscle of imagination. When you get inside of it and you begin to feel the breeze on your face, if it's a beach house, right? Or your Magic Maverick has won an award and you're on stage in New York City accepting award. You're on the stage looking out into the audience. You're not in the audience looking at yourself up there. So imagination allows you to bring forth onto the screen of your mind, it's about 20 degrees here, the image in real time of what it is you want. And then when you get inside it and you start thinking about it and what would it be like, talking with Maverick about how much fun you would have on stage, he gets to go. That's the distinction. And I hope that that is clear. That was a good question, Leah. Thank you. So here I am trying to find the question again. Oh my goodness, okay, visualization. Let me just try this. There we go. Visualize is static, imagination is active. No, it's the reverse. Imagination is already there. I mean, nothing is static. Okay, but that is a good further distinction. Nothing is static. We never really arrive anywhere. Everything is an aspiration. We're a work in progress, as I've heard you say so many times. Imagination is available, such as memory. When you bring up a memory, right, you're going to use imagination to bring up the memory of that thing that happened. You'll use your imagination to visualize or picture already having it. So the active part is the visualization. That is, you see, mind is a cellular activity. When you're thinking something beautiful, every cell in your body, the proteins within move in a certain direction and you feel great. And that's our natural state. So we can talk more about that. Oh my God, it's 12 o'clock already. Oh God, okay. Not good, but I do love that. Next week, we're going to do persistence, the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. Perfect faith in your ability and your deservability that counteracts, I'm not good enough. My self-worth isn't where I want it to be. I can't do that. Right? So persistence, if you can have faith in your ability and your deservability, you're in great shape. Next Monday, we're going to have Sean. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, God, stop. There we go. Hang on just a second here. So Sean will be here Monday. Now, let's do the meditation really quickly because there are things for you to remember before you get old, okay? So give me just a second to get this thing going. I think I can do this. It's right here. I hope this works. Close your eyes and take a slow breath. Let me know in the comments if you can hear my voice. Imagine yourself driving through the countryside on a beautiful early summer day. Let me just see here if this is the case. Can you guys hear me? Yes? Could you hear me? All right, let's see if we can do. I'm not going to put on the music. What am I going to do? Yeah, I am. I'm just going to. Here's what I'll do. All right, here we go. Well, I don't know if you can hear me, so shut that off, and I will. Well, it keeps coming back, so let's just do it anyway. Close your eyes and take a slow, comfortable breath. Imagine yourself driving through the countryside on a beautiful early summer's day. The sky this video is just so beautiful. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you for that, Rob. And a warm breeze drifts through the open windows of your car. Beside you sits your very best friend. And as the miles roll by, the two of you talk about today's lesson on the principle of decision. Your friend says, I finally understand why procrastination has so much power over people. You smile and nod. For me, you reply, it became simple when I discovered one definite purpose. For a moment, you both sit quietly, reflecting on that idea. Then you remember the magic question. If I take this on, will it move me toward my goal or not? When something comes up in the middle of setting my goal, you repeat it together. If I take this on, will it move me toward my goal or not? A new opportunity appears. Will it move me toward my goal? No. A distraction shows up. Will it move me toward my goal or not? You realize that when the answer is yes, you move forward. When the answer is no, you simply say no, not now. And just like that, procrastination loses much of its grip. The conversation turns to the Declaration of Independence today. You talk about how a small group of people made one of the most important decisions in history. Despite uncertainty and risk, they chose a definite course of action. As you reflect on it, you can see how the principles of success work together to make that decision possible. Definite purpose, faith, persistence, organized planning, and especially decision. And now the road stretches ahead. The sun shines across the fields, and you realize that every day offers the same opportunity. Know your purpose, ask the question, make the decision, take the next step. Now take a deep breath and allow this thought to settle in your mind. If I take this on, will it move me toward my goal or not? And when you are ready, gently return to the room, bringing with you greater clarity, confidence, and decision. Hello, Cherito. Excellent. This is fabulous. And now, my friends, I want to thank you all. I hope I got everybody. Let's see if I can get this right. Yes, I trust I got everybody. Hello, Francis. I see your name here, and we're just a couple minutes over, so I do want you to see the outro. Hey, Leanna. Let's look at this. Just hang out for a minute or two. Visualizing your dreams makes a huge difference for being able to actually implementing steps to take toward accomplishing that dream as a goal. Well said. I mean, absolutely well said. Let me just look and see. Ashif says, to be able to do one thing at a time is the whole art of life. One focus, guys. Hey, that's you. One focus, guys. That's it. And isn't it amazing how we've gotten away from focus? And it's not something that we look at so much, but our level of concentration, right? All right, my friends. So let me go back to that. I'm going to play the outro. Invite you absolutely to Monday at 10:45 a.m. where we have Sean Michael coming in for Mind Over Matter Mondays, where we bring in guest teachers to teach the basic elements of personal and professional growth and leadership and transformation, so that you hear it repeatedly from different teachers and develop a resonance with them, so that when you're ready to work with someone, a consultant or a coach or anyone in any business that is in our guest teachers, we have about 20 or 25 of them, you'll already have a resonance with them. So with that, my friends, let's see here, the Drawing Great show as always. Thank you for sharing. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you all. And now I'm going to play this beautiful outro from my good friend, Aaron Gibson, Soul Media Live Productions.
I woke up with fire in my soul, a vision burning bright, a goal to control. The road ahead ain't always clear, but I'm stepping forward, no room for fear. Each stair I climb, a lesson learned. From every fall, a lesson earned. The mind is a weapon, sharp and true. I'm forging ahead, there's nothing I can't do. Think and grow rich, that's the plan. With every step, I take a stand. Climbing the staircase of my dreams, fueled by the power of my schemes. Mind-focused heart on the rise. Achievement is the price I prize. Step by step I'm reaching high, tuning my mindset to touch the sky. The journey's tough, but I won't quit. I've got the drive, I've got the grit. Each level up, a new horizon, a world of possibilities in motion. I'm sharpening my thoughts, aligning my will, turning obstacles into hills I can climb still. The power of belief, it's on my side. With every breath I'm fortified, I'm not just dreaming.